not necessarily interfere with your own existence. Unfortunately, as I've said, we've got organizations and policies, but these have allowed a problem whereby an individual arrives to start with the idea of giving them identity is postponed for years. As someone mentioned, there are some people from 2006 to currently still have not been identified, and that means dignity is denied to that individual. And when such happens, obviously, with COVID and xenophobia arising at the moment, you end up having that when the individuals are surrounding that person who's come, the refugee in this case, start having their own problems like we've seen in the case of COVID, they look at the weaker individual in society. And as they look at the target the weaker individual in society, that's where xenophobia now comes in. That's where the problems that we've been hearing from comes in. So why can't we, especially the Human Rights Commission and any other organizations that are involved, be told to work with the policy makers so that we know that when an individual comes into this country, they are given a standing point, they're given a foundation that can make them start living as human beings. Because seriously, giving someone a piece of paper, whether it's early or late, will not make that person survive unless there's a structure that supports that individual. That structure, unfortunately, is missing in the case of South Africa. So I just wondered, I don't know if any one of the panelists feel the same, or the Human Rights Commissioner would advise us on this. How can we solidify the social structure that can enable an individual coming new in South Africa to have a foundation that can make them survive and have a structure that can be self-sustaining, so that when events like COVID or xenophobia arise, they're not left hanging around like we've been told. People have been sleeping out with nothing to support them. I hope I didn't talk too much, and I hope it's slightly understandable.
There was another hand just in front.
Hello, my name is David. I'm from Retreat Shelter. I just wanted to comment that, well, the panel and what they did, what they said is true. You know, it's factual. And, coming from Zimbabwe myself, and then it's more like domestic violence now, actually happening in the home. You know, you comment on something you see on TV, maybe on DSTV, like, oh, it looks nice in South Africa there, and then you're warned by your family that you're speaking like that, but the maid there, she could be part of the regime, you know? And then you get sorted out and stuff like that. So it's, but it was really factual about living in South Africa as a refugee, where you're stuck with your the status, the IDs, and it is a real journey that refugees are going through at the moment, because we're really stuck. So just, no, she's talking of it takes years, like decades, but yeah, it's, I can imagine what for us as individuals it's going to be to actually go forward now, because yeah, you're really stuck without an ID. So yeah, it was really factual. Thank you.
There is another hand right to the back, and there's another one.
Hello everybody, my name is Kaylan. Like what I heard now about people talking about refugees. The first time that I see refugees in the Green Market Square, it was very painful for me to see the people lying on the street, chasing from this corner to that corner, especially for the kids and the lost. I met friends with them, the mothers and the daughters, small kids. And that's the last when I see him on the next of the road here. That's the last when I see him and still sleeping on the field. And I was wondering what the government doing with the people, what places they're going to, or they're going to safe places, or wherever they're going. Yeah, that's all I want to say. Oh, it was very sore for that girl.
Thank you for sharing your feeling. We acknowledge in this context of refugee and homeless. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you, everybody. My name is Dionge Jimbalanga from Malawi. It's a comment, and finish comment, I'm ask one question. Is it true? People, example, foreigners here in South Africa, a lot of challenge. Example, Miss Dionge, she left my country, come here in South Africa. Is a one of them person came out for human rights in my country, especially LGBTI people in my country. Government of Malawi put me in jail 14 years in prison. And they're spending in prison maximum of only 8 months in prison because for Ban Ki-moon come to my country, speak to my former president. That's why she ran in my country to come here in South Africa. Here in South Africa, a lot of challenge here, especially LGBTI people or straight people or refugees here in South Africa. And stabbed here and killed here. And even a job, did not give a job because education, no education, or language used from Zimbabwe, you from Malawi, you from DRC, do not working here. And my question is, they start lockdown. Example, Mina, no family here, no go to ask food or nothing. And I know the NGO here in South Africa, a lot of NGO here in South Africa, but it did not give food to, example, foreigners. No, it's only South African citizens.